We would be honored if you would join us.
Does put a smile on my face.
This is my video entry for the Longbox Love Affairs contest entry for 1,000 subscribers. Rules are pretty simple. 18, like, comment, share if you wish, and also make a video on books you think are speculation. Now, I've mentioned a few of these books before, but I'm just going to go over it again, or spec books. Now, I have a lot, but I'm just going to go over a few. You only have to do one or two. I have a bunch, but I just think I should share some of this stuff, and it's some of my reading into things, and I've seen a lot of people do videos like this, but I'm going to say the #1 spec book has got to be this, and this is my worst copy. The rest are being pressed and cleaned right now and sent off to CGC. I have one really nice copy, which I keep for myself. A lot of my big keys I don't slab that much, or I don't put them in Watson, so to speak. That's a shout out to TJ Watson. By the way, shout out to Tony Sanders. His video was great the other day. Well, this is in really rough shape. I picked it up for $4 at a con about a year ago, and this is the first appearance of Annihilus. Now, a lot of rumors are that the Avengers movie is going to be called Annihilation. Going along that route, these are the books you'd want to get. The series, Annihilation 1 or Annihilation 4. You'll see these coming up pretty soon, probably in another video of mine. This is the death of Thanos. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, as well as there. Now, those are, you have a high price book or a medium price book on a Silver Age, and you got some moderns there. I'm going to stick with the same theme. So you've got here other comics that everybody talks about here and there, and I'm going to have to show some of these right now. Thor 165 is a must. It is really nice shape. My copy here. I'm not saying it's a high grade, but I'm probably going to send this to get pressed. Or I did get it pressed. I'm going to have it cleaned. Well, I didn't have it cleaned. I'll just send it to get graded. Then I would always say this book here, which I love, because A, it's Doctor Strange, B, it's John Buscema's first work, my favorite artist. But this is 158, Strange Tales 158. This is for the Living Tribunal. If you watch the scene where Doctor Strange is training with Mordo, the staff of the Living Tribunal, it's mentioned. Now, the Living Tribunal is definitely one of those characters I'd keep an eye on. He also has a cameo in the last one. Another key book regarding with the Avengers movies or movies coming out in general is this. This is Kang the Conqueror. I think this is a villain that will show up eventually. This is Avengers 8. He's also Rama Tut in Fantastic Four 19, but he's here. And he's in Annihilation, and he's all over the place. So if they have the rights to him, this is the one you'd want, Avengers #8. In addition to that, speaking of movies, I hear they're doing a Deadpool movie. And one of the things that Marvel had the rights of, and Deadpool has a nice little run with, and a nice little series with, is this guy, the Taskmaster. Love the Taskmaster. It's a book. Avengers 196. 195 has a cameo. 196 is first appearance on this great George Perez cover. Recently, I've heard a lot of stories about the Dark Avengers, which is hysterical because I loved that series. Brian Michael Bendis did the writing on it and everything else, and this is dusty for some reason. Well, anyway, a while ago, this is in 2009, when it came out, I went to the debut of it, and they broadcast the book and everything else, and they gave it out, and everybody who had something to do with the book signed it. So this is the variant edition, 1 in 25 variant. Marko Jerkovic, who I talk there, and this is signed by Michael Bendis, Mike Deodato Jr., and Marko Jerkovic, all on February 8th of 2009 when it came out. And this is that book. But Dark Avengers 1, you can get the regular copy. It's still pretty cheap out there. Again, it's a modern book versus I gave you some Golden Age, some Silver Age, and some, not Golden Age, I gave you some Silver Age, some Bronze Age, and now the modern book. Let's do 2 more, and then we'll call it it. Swamp Thing's coming out, and you saw me show this book before, the one that was signed by Bernie Wrightson. This is the first appearance of Abigail O'Kane and Patchwork Man. Outside of House of Secrets 92, Swamp Thing, Alan Moore run, number 37, first appearance of Constantine. This is probably the #1 book of that run. But it's also reasonably priced. I mean, if this does show up somewhere in DC world. Swamp Thing has a huge cult following that I think it will do well. And the storyline being Alan Moore means you don't have to worry about crap, because if they use an Alan Moore storyline, it's going to be really good. So I worry over a lot of Annihilation and everything else. And one sentimental book, which I think everybody should have in their collection that's a Marvel fan. It's Marvel Age number 41. It's an entire Stan Lee devoted issue. It's the Stan the Man issue, and it's got all these great covers in the background. And the returns of Stan's soapbox, he starts going over. It's a great read, but I think this is going to be a key because the man's getting older, and this is the main book he's focused on. So I just think this is a great spec book. Again, some of these spec books are a little bit higher priced. Some of them are lower, but you can dig and dive into anything for the Annihilations. I know I see them in dollar bins, all of them. They have a wrap. Grab any of them. I mean, they're all good reads, and they're great covers. And the covers are Gabriel Dell'Otto. So, and you know, I'm going to do a nice little thing on him coming up. The Swamp Thing, that's a Bernie Wrightson cover. Again, John Buscema, George Perez. It's all the same with me. I apologize. This is Jack Kirby right here. Right? Is that who did the cover? This is falling apart pretty good. Stanley, Jack Kirby, and they did this together. This is from 1968. Again, this is the spec book I'd be going after. Anyway, thank you guys very much. Hope you enjoyed the new opening, and that's my entry.